Hey everyone, Kevin here, and welcome back to my channel. So, during the rather extended period of unemployment I had, I came to realize that many companies were far too focused on the fact that I had a job gap rather than the experience or impact I had in previous positions. But there are important reasons for this that we don't often highlight, and I kind of wanted to do that today. And to start off with, hiring managers and recruiters want to understand why exactly you've been unemployed, not just for how long of a period. And what people don't really understand from their perspective is the mere fact you have a gap is a red flag because they don't know why it's there. The absence of information is inherently something they want to fill, since, for all they know, you got fired from your last job for aggressive, violent behavior and poor performance. I remember one admittedly outlier story where a person had a multi year gap, and when asked about it, the applicant said they had been incarcerated, which, mind you, they of course didn't list on their application. So I think we are kind of quick to judge recruiters for asking the question, why are you unemployed? Even though they're just doing their job. I remember I was asked this multiple times myself while looking for a new role, and even though I understood the reasoning for asking, I admit I was always a little uncomfortable answering the question because it made me feel like that long stint of unemployment was somehow my own fault. There's also going to be valid concerns on their part that your skills have eroded during that period. Employers will be worried that your abilities and knowledge will be outdated and that they will need to spend more time onboarding you or waiting for you to get up to speed, thus increasing costs on their end and leading to a lower ROI if they choose to hire you. They need to see how you've managed to stay current. And that's also one of the many reasons why in instructional design they want to see your portfolio. Adding to that, there will also be natural doubt about your commitment to an employer if you have multiple gaps on your resume. If you're a person that likes to job hop a lot because you get bored in one place and maybe lose motivation after a while, they're going to be less inclined to hire you. Most places do want to invest in their employees to some degree and spend both money and time training them, but don't want to do that if they know you'll only be around for a very short period of time. Like anyone, they want an employee that is committed to their brand and who wants to stay as long as possible before natural career movements every couple of years. The longer you spend at previous employers, the more trustworthy you become because then they know that you'll want to grow at their company. Plus, if you spend less time at places, then they are more likely to think that you have a hard time getting along with coworkers or bosses, even if that is totally off base. But going back to the skill issue for a moment, there's something more to add there. Not only will they worry that your skills have atrophied, but they'll worry about your lack of recent and relevant work experience. The experience you do have is really outdated now, and the more job gaps you have, the harder it is for them to really know how current you are. For example, say you got laid off a year ago and haven't really stayed current with articulate storyline at all in that time period. Well, there have been a lot of updates in that time frame that you've missed out on. So you're going to be lacking knowledge of those new features, and when combined with the fact that what you already knew has faded, what companies see is a major red flag. Often, they will need you to hit the ground running on your first day, and in this situation, that's highly unlikely to happen since you need to be brought up to speed. Now, with all that being said, I do think that way too many people get hung up on job gaps than they should. From that applicant's perspective, even though all of this is understandable, they will reason that it also really shouldn't matter. If I'm a great fit for the role, despite the job gap, then that shouldn't disqualify me. But it often does for people, and that can be really frustrating. Whenever I was asked about my gap, I would tell them I got laid off due to a company's financial problems and restructuring. But I still felt judged each time that came up, and that judgment only got worse as the months went on. And mind you, I was looking for 8 months. I know others who have been unemployed and looking for a year and a half or more, and I can only imagine how much worse it's been for them. Plus, you have to grapple with the feelings of failure that are inherent in any protracted job search. Your mental health suffers, and you get really discouraged at a certain point. But when it comes down to it, the only way to dispel the issue is to explain the gap, like I did. Explain the reason for the break, especially if it was for taking care of family. Show how you've stayed current. Describe how you fit the job requirements. And provide a thoughtful narrative about your break that shows how you're prepared to re enter the workforce. Should you have to do this? No, and good companies who understand how bad the job market is probably won't even ask you about your job gap anyway. But you need to be prepared for job gaps to be a point of contention nonetheless. And all you can do is just own it and not be ashamed of it. Easier said than done, I know, but it's a start. And that's all you can ask of yourself. But that's it for now. Thanks for listening, and please don't forget to click like and subscribe to catch more of my content. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.